All right, family. We live again with the general. You already know we got that fire analysis, commentary, dialogue on what's going on around the world, dealing with, wars and rumors of wars, and today we're gonna be talking about over there in the South Pacific. We taking it somewhere else. It's all interconnected though. And before we get started, make sure you click that link right there in the top of the chat. Get over there to Patreon, the general. Got over 600 exclusive live streams. We got 6 new ones that dropped this week. I want you to go over there and check it out. It's all fire. And now today we're gonna be dealing with how the United States has signed a military uh pact, a treaty with Indonesia. Okay, which is very significant because we're gonna talk about this other strait that nobody's talking about. You see, this show you, how these people is operating all around the world at one time. Here it is. Listen, let me show y'all something. Do y'all know they have a military? And we just talked about this. People keep talking about China. Do you know they having a military, one of the largest military drills between the United States, Philippines, and Japan over there in the Indo-Pacific right now? Right now. Not later, right now. Even while they over here, in a conflict over here in the Strait of Hormuz, they over here in the South Pacific, and I just told you about China. But I had to show and prove because everybody swear they know what the hell they talking about. What I'm gonna talk about that in a minute. What we're talking about is Iran, Indonesia, not Iran, Indonesia being in one another choke, what they call a chokehold. You know what I'm saying? It's a spot where you got to transit through this it could be a strait, you got to in it. Listen to me now. The Strait of Malacca, over 30% of the world's oil move through this strait. So, what is the significance of the Strait of Malacca? It connects the Indian Ocean with the Pacific Ocean. So, all the oil that's going to China, Japan, South Korea, it goes through that strait. And that's over 30% of the world's global trade, not just oil, global trade. And see, it's very significant because at its narrowest point, it's only 1.7 miles wide, which means just like the Strait of, well, even less than the Strait of Hormuz, you could easily plug it up. You see, you could plug it up and you could cause even greater disruption than even what you're seeing in Hormuz. Let me get it up here for you. Let me get it up here for you. There we go. So you see where the red arrows is, that's the Strait of Malacca. Okay. And so the United States has signed a military pact with Indonesia to be able to fly over, to use their airspace. You know what I'm saying? To put their presence over that strait. You see? And so, this is, man, listen here. Y'all got to grow up and get off into your military geography. Nobody, listen to me. Listen to me, family. Let's be serious. I know y'all local niggas, and and y'all ain't gonna go past the liquor store politics. I know you're not. But here the general is showing you, because I let everybody else, I don't we know about it's a lot of murders going on. And I believe everybody got that. I'm not gonna sit up here and talk about every goddamn murder. We know it go on, and my heart go out for my people. But we got to talk above, a lot of that. and get our minds on some international, national moves that's gonna take us to the next level. The liquor store politics ain't gonna do that for us no more. You see, the enclosed mind is not gonna do that for us. So we have to understand because it don't make no difference where you at in the world. These choke points. You see, these choke points that we're talking about, the Hormuz is the Straits of Malaccas, the Suez Canal, and many other, the Panama Canal. You see how the United States is in all these areas. You see what I'm saying? At the same time, I'm showing you, I had to come out of that because a lot of y'all are saying, oh, they loot. Man, they got operations going on, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 goddamn operations going on at one time. You see, so they didn't took over the Panama Canal. They didn't took over Venezuela. They didn't sign this pact with Indonesia that's gonna put them over the straits of Malacca, man. They is putting a goddamn China in a noose. They putting China in a noose. You see what I'm saying? They got them in some critical points. You understand? Got them in some critical points. And so let me get that map back up there. So, all the oil is going. So what they about to do for Indonesia, they're gonna give them some training, and they've been training with Indonesia anyway. So they're gonna be training a lot of their soldiers. They're gonna give them some systems too, some military systems and and it seemed they haven't signed the deal all the way, in detail, but it's looking like it ain't gonna be much longer, and they're gonna have some, and the United States is gonna be flying. It's really gonna take over their airspace. That's real crazy. That they and so they gonna I think Indonesia been having a problem over there, the Philippines been having a problem over there. And so they about to militarize that area, man. Which they already doing, anyway. Anyway, so this is very significant because that's you connecting the east, the far east of Asia with Africa, with Europe, with the Middle East, and that particular point, you can go around the point. You can go around, but it's gonna cause you to, it's gonna be very, very disruptive, for you to have to do it any other kind of way. You see, it's gonna be very disruptive when you can go straight through there, and go straight on up into the South China Sea. It's gonna be very disruptive. But as you can see what the United States doing, the Philippines, they got they didn't damn near lock the men down there, man. When you look at that, and motherfucker keep telling me something about the damn strait, what China ain't gonna do. How the fuck is China gonna do something in the goddamn Strait of Hormuz? And they over there, so I'm showing you long distance understanding from the general. Niggas is stuck in the Hormuz. So I had to bring y'all out of Hormuz and show you another choke point. You see another choke point right there, the Strait of Malacca, which connects, China, and a lot of them over there, Malaysia, and I believe Malaysia is in good standing with the United States too. Philippines, Taiwan, because a lot of people getting, a lot of stuff from Taiwan too. I don't know if they flying it in. They might be able to fly some of them computer chips and all of that in, but other stuff they gonna have to sell it in there. So that's very significant that it connects Far East Asia with the Middle East, even India. You see, that's very critical. Now, if they cut that off, you cut that off, man. You is in man, and then you got the Philippines. They strapped up on the Philippines. I think the United States is, got a lot of bases on the Philippines. Then you up there And you don't even see Korea, but if you go up a little further, they all around there, man. Real talk. So China is, you got something to prove to me. You ain't about to do nothing nowhere else, and you can't even get the United States out your front door. They ain't in your back door, nigga. They in your front door. You see what I'm saying? They piling it up. And that's why they asked him for that 2.2 trillion. And I think it's gonna go up. I think it's gonna go up. Cause what they're gonna do is they're gonna start stockpiling. And I wouldn't be surprised if they even start opening up factories over there to start producing a lot of that stuff right over there in those particular areas. They're just gonna, and then you got Guam, you got a lot of islands over there that you can't even see on the map. You feel what I'm saying? You can't even see them on the map. And so that's very significant, family. So just to show you that you got all these particular operations going on, and I ain't even talking about, as we talking about, Malacca, and that's a deal with Indonesia. We ain't even talking about the military operation that's going going on over there between United States, Philippines, and the United States. We will be talking about it in a minute. So we're gonna be extending our coverage over this area. And I've already done that. And y'all can most definitely, I got my playlist, and I'm gonna separate, what's going on over in Hormuz and the Persian Gulf, and what is going on with what is going on in the South China Sea, and particularly between the United States militarization of the South China Sea and China, both of them, going back and forth, between the various nations in that area, and it's getting very volatile. But stay with me, family. We're just getting started this evening. Make sure you get over there, get to Patreon, click the link. We got some fire over there. I'm gonna most definitely. I know you want to drink from the fountain of wisdom, and I'm gonna open it up tomorrow for you and put some more wisdom in there for you. So most definitely plug in immediately and get that work. I'll be black in a minute, family. Black power.